What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. And for today's WWE news video, oh fuck, we have quite the interesting lineup for you guys, because in today's video I'm going to be talking about a possible return for Johnny Gargano? What the hell? Why does he want to come back to WWE after all this time? What's up with that? The latest injury update on NXT Superstar and former tag team champion Zoey Stark, and as well as the latest update on the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. What is going on with the titles, and are we going to see them ever again? And this first one that I will be talking about is an update on NXT Superstar Io Shirai. What is going on with her? So hopefully you guys are ready for this video anyway. If you guys aren't and you guys want to see more WWE news videos, which typically get posted on Thursdays, sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys follow me on all of my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. Let's get straight into it with Io Shirai. Apparently, rumor has it that she's pretty much gone from WWE. Supposedly she has left WWE, but if you guys don't know, there were reports stating that Io Shirai's current WWE deal was set to expire next month, at some point next month, and apparently she has yet to sign a new deal with WWE, despite having been given offers from WWE. And as far as and according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, big shout out, no copyrights as always, he indicated that she appears to be preparing to leave WWE, stating quote, Io Shirai's pretty much got her foot out the door, pretty much gone. Excuse me. And rumor has it that she supposedly wants to go back to Japan to be closer to her family. And it's possible that it's a possible path that Kairi Sane took about a couple years ago, when she left WWE. In fact, she left WWE because she wanted to be closer to her family, but they also gave her a role as WWE's Japanese ambassador, which honestly was an awesome role. But now she's currently back in the ring in Japan, and her contract had expired earlier this year, unfortunately. And you guys know that Io Shirai, the last time we saw her was back in April, where she competed in a fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's title, which featured her. Let's see. Going back on my book here. WrestleMania. Stand and Deliver. Here we are. So it was a fatal 4-way match for the NXT Women's title between the champion Mandy Rose, Cora Jade, who this past Tuesday turned heel on her now former best friend Roxanne Perez after what happened. If you guys know, you know. Kaylee Ray, or I guess now Alba Fire, and of course Io Shirai herself, in a fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's title. And Mandy Rose actually pinned Io Shirai to retain the NXT Women's title. That right there gave Io Shirai a leg injury, and she was And Excuse me. Excuse me. And apparently she's set to return to the ring relatively soon, but we do have an update, and she decided to go on Twitter and wrote rumors with the throw up emoji, the puke emoji, if you will. Basically saying that rumors are bullshit, basically. Yeah. I think it's pretty safe to say that Io Shirai is not done with WWE as of yet. But honestly, I think if there was one superstar on the roster that could potentially take the women's title off of Mandy Rose, hands down, it has to be Io Shirai, because her time in NXT is just about up. I think her time on the main roster could come up at some point, because this new side to her, this side that we've come to know and love the last couple years, the last few years, was what gave her the NXT Women's title, and of course the NXT Women's Tag Team titles alongside Zoey Stark. And funny enough, both Shirai and Alba Fire earlier this year won the NXT the women's Dusty Cup, where they decided, instead of going after the tag team titles, they went after the NXT Women's title, making the match a fatal 4-way, which, again, as I talked about before, we already know what happened there. But I must admit, sometimes rumors can be a huge pain in the fucking ass. But then again, sometimes rumors can be true, but you never know. You never know. But since we are on the topic of Zoey Stark, let's actually talk about her for a minute, because if you guys don't know, her last the last match she had was back in October, where at Halloween Havoc, it was a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, which ended up becoming a ladder match between Stark and Shirai, the team of Persia Pirotta, who has been released from WWE, unfortunately, and her tag team partner being Indy Hartwell, and Toxic Attraction's JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, who are now 2-time champions. Potentially 3-time for all we know. Who the fuck knows? Toxic Attraction ended up winning the match, but in the process, Stark tore her ACL and meniscus in her knee. I think her right knee was supposed to have been, and has not been in the ring since. And as far as Dave Meltzer goes, there's been pitches for her return, noting that Bayley is also set to return at some point as well. He wrote saying Bayley and Zoey Stark should both be returning from knee injury relatively soon. Bayley has been back training for her return. Returning booking ideas have been talked with that regard. Stark in NXT. And of course, too, as I had mentioned with Shirai, she could potentially be out, her way out of WWE, but Shirai, as I talked about, with her tweet saying that rumors were just bullshit, and there's been a lot of people who had gotten released from their contract within the last year. Keith Lee, Isaiah Swerve Scott, AJ Francis, or I guess Top Dollar, Tahuti Miles, or I guess Ashanti the Adonis, B-Fab is another one. Producers, referees. The last 2 years, we have had a grand total of well over at least 200 people released from WWE, which included talent, producers, developmental talent, and of course, as well, referees as well, which I had just mentioned. But yeah, again, producers, talent, developmental talent, referees, and commentators as well. Commentators such as Adnan Burke, if you guys remember him. If you guys remember him from last year, the night after WrestleMania, was only a part of WWE for like a couple months, and he realized it wasn't working out. Now we got Jimmy Smith from the UFC, from Bellator. Honestly, Smith, awesome commentator. Awesome commentator. If you guys have not watched Monday Night Raw this past year, I recommend you watch, because Jimmy Smith is a hell of a commentator, to be honest. But I must admit, I must admit, if Zoey Stark does return, you can bet your ass that she will definitely target, Toxic Attraction. That is something that we can definitely agree on. But speaking of returns, now the question becomes, what's next for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles? If you guys remember, on May 16th, back in May, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out on Raw. And you guys are asking yourselves, why? Well, on that night, it was supposed to have been a 6-pack challenge where the winner would face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at Hell in a Cell. And unfortunately, that did not come to pass. Or as far as I think it was Hell in a Cell. Yeah, it was Hell in a Cell. Yeah. Yep, I was right. It was Hell in a Cell, and Asuka ended up winning that one, but Becky Lynch ended up getting herself involved. Now, unfortunately, because of the fact that that match was supposed to have taken place, the 6-pack challenge, Banks and Naomi handed the titles, their tag team titles, to the head of talent relations, and just walked off. Bags packed and everything, just walked off. And so we ended up having Becky Lynch versus Asuka. And the following week, later on that week, both women were suspended indefinitely, and they were stripped of the titles, and we were supposed to have had a tournament to crown new champions. 2 months later, nothing yet. Nothing. However, Fightful Select, big shout out, no copyrights as always. Apparently they have reported saying that the talent that they have spoken to have received no word on whether or not the tournament will actually happen. And apparently they're claiming that there have been no discussions regarding the titles since the announcement. And all of this is following the whole feud, the rivalry between Natalya and Ronda Rousey over the SmackDown Women's title, with and of course Rhea Ripley splitting from Liv Morgan, joining Judgment Day, which reduced the number of tag teams in the division. So obviously I will provide more updates on the tournament if they do become available. But at this point, the only tag teams that are the only other tag team that's on the roster, I think, are Doudrop and Nikki ASH, I believe, and yeah, I think that's it. I think they're the only ones. They're the only ones, unless if they brought in unless if they made Natalia and and Tamina and Dana Brooke, the 24/7 champion, unless if they got, they started teaming up together. And my brother just texted me. Oh no, never mind. Nope, phone bill. Never mind. Phone bill. Anyway, again, unless if they paired Tamina and Dana Brooke together, and perhaps Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan, if they were down for a team, which it's hard to say. It's hard to say whether or not they'd be down to team up, but who knows? Who knows? At this point, the titles are pretty much just done at this point. But again, we'll have more updates on it as time progresses, but we will see. But now we gotta jump ship over to Johnny Gargano. Apparently, he is claiming that there are still more left to do in WWE. You guys know that Johnny Gargano left WWE at the end of last year when his contract expired. And the funny thing about all this is that he left WWE at the hands of Grayson Waller, hence the reason why Grayson Waller became one of the most hated dudes on the roster. And apparently people are saying that Johnny Gargano is going to sign with the promotion with the promotion AEW, which again I don't watch, just from what I've seen on social media, obviously, but apparently Johnny Gargano has some unfinished business in WWE. But the reason why he left WWE, the main reason was because he wanted to stay home and look after his wife, Candice LeRae, and of course their newly born son named Quill, which was based obviously off of the Pokemon Cyndaquil. I guess that's Johnny Gargano's. I don't know if that's Gargano's favorite Pokemon or what the hell, but yeah. But Gargano was on the Good Karma Wrestling podcast. Big shout out, no copyrights as always. He admitted that he still has a number of goals left to accomplish in WWE, and during his career, perhaps suggesting a possible return to WWE instead of going to AEW. He said, quote, I never got the chance to wrestle at WrestleMania. That was always something on my bucket list, and it still is on my bucket list. It's a usual answer for a lot of guys my size from my era, but the Intercontinental title, especially like the white strap Intercontinental title that I used to love, is always something that has been in the back of my mind as well. That I would love to have one day. And of course, too, as you guys are well aware, Johnny Gargano is a former NXT champion. He's a former NXT Tag Team champion and a three-time North American champion. And he also competed in the 2019 Men's Royal Rumble. And of course, to WWE had made him a great offer, and they were very keen on keeping him. And honestly, I would love to see Johnny Gargano stay, or rather come back to WWE, because by having him on the main roster, like on Raw or SmackDown, there's a lot of talent that he could face in WWE. Guys like AJ Styles, guys like Ricochet, guys like Roman Reigns, guys like the Usos, the New Day, the Viking Raiders, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, who else? Reggie, R-Truth, The Miz, even also Logan Paul, who's now signed with WWE, which I will talk about that even more at some point this weekend. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But honestly, I mean, there's a lot of people that he has not faced. Even also Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. If and when he returns, excuse me. There's a lot of there's a lot of dudes that he has yet to face. It's a possibility he could return, but that brings me to the question of the day. Do you guys want to see Johnny Gargano come back to WWE? Let me know in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more WWE news videos, which typically get posted on Thursdays, sometimes on weekends, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And make sure you guys follow me on all of my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.